video 3 in my stream of conscience discussion on fighting and what is universal. In the past 2 videos, I talked about the context of different fights in the sport arena, of what makes them what they are, and sort of universal concepts that go into fighting, whether whatever form of sport combat or real combat you're in, positioning, reading, timing, initiative, things like that. So in this one, I wanted to talk about you. What do you tell people when you fight? What do you want them to know? What makes fighting not sparring? Where is that line? And this gets into psychological warfare, if you will, energy, if you will. So I'll just talk about myself, because I can't speak for what everyone does, and I'm sure any experienced fighter of any field will have their own ways that they approach this. I'll just describe myself and how this plays in the context. And background, I have been in some fights in quote-unquote the real world, and some of them were in situations where I was absolutely not safe and could have been seriously injured. Thankfully, I came out on the better end of those. I've learned all sorts of interesting things. Like sometimes, man, when you don't actually have technique, you really think you can just punch somebody and it's gonna like win a fight? Oh, it is scary when you find out you were wrong. Or when all that training and karate you have doesn't mean, because you trained a lifetime in a game to hit somebody once, you go bah, and they're like, oh, it didn't do anything. They're not done. Whew. So, the first real concept I had learned about fighting was you have to break your opponent's will to fight, or you have to break their body, mechanically or psychologically, emotionally. Those are your choices. In the context of a game like the SCA or Dagger Hero or something, you could say, well, breaking down their body mechanically is delivering a wounding blow, like taking away a limb, or a victory condition blow, like hitting them in the body or stabbing them in the face, right, depending on the game. In real life, that might mean making it so their arm doesn't work anymore, causing so much pain that they're distracted. Might mean poking somebody in the eyeball. Muscle's a lot like armor, and there are only so many push-ups a person can do in their life. Okay, you can do a lot of push-ups. You can have a lot of muscle. In fact, it can be almost impossible to hurt somebody when you're not good at delivering damage and thinking, like, how am I going to hurt this big, powerful person who can just soak up all of what I've got to give? And you stab them in the eyeball and realize those push-ups didn't help make their eyes tougher. Though that's a small moving target and hard to hit, especially with somebody who knows to protect it. So, you have to train for the situations you're given, and you have to be able to think, how do my victory conditions change in the context of what I'm in? If I'm fighting somebody tall and skinny, or long, or short, or small, or somebody who gets in close, or they're gargantuan. What if I'm in a fight like in BOTN ACL, where they just hit me over and over and over and over and over again, and I could be the best duelist in the world and sniper at moving around and subtly, and then hitting you once, and that's the end of my fight. But man, if you can't dish out over and over and over punishment, it doesn't matter. So you have to know what you're putting out, and you have to know what you've got in your tank, and you have to understand the situation situation that you're in. Oh, it's kind of windy. Hello, wind. Hello, Thor. So, if you go into a fight with somebody, they're really athletic. Are you going to out-athletic them? Maybe, maybe not. They're hot and they're angry, they're amped up. Me, Musashi talks about paraphrasing, doing the opposite. If they give you a hard energy, give them soft. Oh, come on, let's go. All right, slow down, young man. Young man, slow down. No, I'm not trying to have that fight with you. Just relax. Relax, slow down. Right? If they give you a soft energy, I'm chilling. Right? Hard, aggravate them. If they're scared, give them confidence. If they're confident, feign fear. All right, man. I don't know how I hit you with that. The energy that you give should be appropriate to the situation you're in. And you may have to read it. It may be natural for you to figure this stuff out. You may have to really consider it. And so, like, for example, in real life, most sane people aren't trying to go into a conflict that could mean serious injury or death. Right? Most people, when they fight, they just want to beat somebody up. They want to prove a point. They want to get out that aggression, that testosterone or whatever. They want to hit you. And they do not in any means want to fight. And so, in the games, however, people want to fight. There's a reason they're here. And so when you give them, a high level of energy and threat, they might go, yeah, man, I want it. Give me more of it. So one of the things that I find I will do in real situations that has honestly gotten me out of most of the trouble I could have gotten into in my life is just by presenting the potential severity of a situation to my would-be assailant, usually under the guise of going, I'm going to go have a nice day. You have a great day too. Thank you. I want that for you. Doing a couple things. Creating space. Hands are open. I'm not inviting the fight. I am looking right into, if not through them, like the center line. And I want them to understand without a shadow of a doubt, I'm okay dying today. I'd rather not. But I had a good life. Space, control, soft. You have a nice day. Hey, no problem. I'm gonna go. Right? Subtle. I want you to be concerned and not understand why. No, you're the tough guy. I'm out. Right? Control. Bring the energy down. And on the times when that part didn't work, middle school bully of mine, gang member, thug dude, robbed my house. Ran into him one day in my early 20s when I was still a young man playing young man games. Didn't like the way I was looking at him. I was like, I can't believe this guy used to beat me up and rob me. And, he's like, hey, are you trying to fight? You know what? Fine. You're going to keep harassing me like this? Fine, let's fight. I'm done with you. Let's do it. I'm over it. I'm sick of being afraid of you. Let's rock. So I'm like, let's go back to this alley. Sure, let's go to the alley. I don't remember who invited the other to the alley. Richie, I was just thinking the same thing. And suddenly, his entire will to fight broke. Oh man, Al, it's cool, man. Hey, you know what? It's cool. It's all good, man. It's all good. And I'm like, really? After all of these years, really? All it took was for me to not care that you have a knife or a claim to, and to inform you that I was politely going to not attempt to murder you too? That's what it took. But that was it. He realized I was not afraid of him, and that the potential escalation of conflict was one he did not want any part of. That story summarizes most of the trouble I've gotten out of, and the handful of times I got into trouble when I did something wrong, when I presented myself as too hard. Hey man, let me ask you a question. No. Right? Get away from me. I know you're asking for money from me. I go, what? Go. I know, and punches thrown at me because I was, right, I'm hard. So what you present is important. I once got crushed in a big tournament that I was, considered one of the favorites to win. I went out in the first round. The guy fought me was experienced and competent, but not at a level that I felt I needed to be terribly concerned. Big mistake of hubris on my part. And I gave him a very lazy fight, like, let me make him concerned about me. Man, I don't even need to worry about you. I don't even need to pick my guard up. Like, well, he charged me and one-shotted me. He was as surprised as I was. Well, what had happened was my renown and energy presented so much of a threat to him that he just jumped me. And his energy and presence and renown was such that I didn't view him as a threat, and I didn't treat it like I was in danger. And it was a pretty embarrassing tournament for me. It was a really good lesson, and that man absolutely deserved his win, and I absolutely deserved to lose. He took his threat and conflict seriously and treated it with reverence, and I didn't. I deserved to lose. It's an important lesson for me. So you have to treat every situation like your life depends on it. And it's easy to get out of that when you fight in sports where you don't get hurt, right? SCA, you can fight over and over again. The likelihood of you getting hurt is so small that who cares? And so the fear isn't of injury or pain or death. It's of, maybe losing or getting embarrassed. And so I find in situations where I'm just sparring, or just fighting for fun, I might not care. I might not be able to summon up that energy I need to actually be able to fight. Because when I fight, I am deadly serious. But, if I can't bring myself to that place because my opponent is lying to me so effectively that I don't respond to the real threat that he is, or my opponent gives me an energy that I don't take seriously, or for whatever reason, it can be really easy to get caught slipping. So you have to be in control of yourself, and you have to control the pace and energy of your own fight. You have to control your timing. You have to control your lever and what dial you turn it to. It dawns on me, I like to, in tournament combat, create space preemptively. Like I like to start far enough away that you have to go through that place of discomfort to come in. And if somebody comes and gives me like that, they're serious, I start smiling. I don't know, just this is interesting, they're hard given soft, I start smiling. This takes people off their game. They stop taking it seriously. They start thinking like, oh, is this fun? Is he having fun? Like, what's happening here? And I stab them. If people come in uncertain, I am. Serious like a heart attack. I find that kind of thing interesting. How you have to read and set up and prepare and know what energy you have to have. You have to have an idea, if this guy's going to just jump my shorts and throw tons of energy at me, I better be able to stay away and weather it. Or I better make them so uncomfortable they don't want to come in. And that's one of the ways I really enjoy is making people uncomfortable to come close and punishing them from trying to do it. Giving me initiative. They have to come into my range and I'm going to kill them while they do that. I like to bang it up sometimes, but I don't like to bang it up sometimes. I like to throw my attacks are safe. I like to pretend that if they hit me, I'm going to die, like, for real, or at least get gangrene and succumb to my wounds later. So, where possible, the perfect fight is the one where I struck once and they died. That's the perfect fight. Oh man, a friend of mine said this so well recently. An okay fight is if they strike at me and I get out of the way and I kill them. And all right fight is if they strike at me and I block and I kill them. I've done a couple things wrong already there. A bad fight is one where they strike at me and I had to stop it with my weapon to kill them. Because now I was in danger. And an awful fight is one where my armor has to protect me. To save my life. Because my life is on borrowed time. I owe my armor a debt. Or my muscles, I know my push-ups. Or how tough I made my eyeball. I survived your eye pokey. Ha 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 ha. Eye push-ups. Oh, God. Terrible idea. And these are universal techniques. Right. Lastly, I'd say, again, know you. Know how you fight, know what kind of range, know what kind of energy you have, know where you excel, know where you don't, and know how to apply it against the person you're coming up against. And if you don't know, figure it out real fast. And get good at figuring it out fast. If you know you're a range fighter who's slow and paced and wants to play head games, man, you better be able to stay at range and keep that fight paced and be able to play head games. Because otherwise, you're going to get some young athletic man who's just going to jump your shit and knock you out. Or stab and knock you out of the tournament. If you were that ball of energy and you just need to get close and you need to get underneath whatever they thought they were going to make you weather and get inside and keep them on their heels, keep pushing. If you're a grappler, don't box with a boxer. If you're a boxer, don't grapple the grappler. That's my universal techniques class. Conversation. I hope you got something out of this. I get something out of it talking about it. I relearn things that I used to know. Sometimes I learn new things as I'm saying them. Sometimes I play above my pay grade. I don't even know what it was that I knew until I said it. And I went, oh wow, yeah, well, that was smart. Who came up with that? So again, just thanks for watching the videos, and I hope you enjoy them. And thanks.